Michigan versus Jennifer Lynn Plumhoff. Ms. Plumhoff is here for sentencing. Prosecution and defense. Was the pre-sentence investigation report finally made available to you?
It was, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything that you want the court to consider?
Yeah, so I've read the recommendation. I think the recommendation is spot on, Judge. I think that it's considerate not only of the circumstances which led to this, but also of the person who is the byproduct of where we're at today. And talking to Jen, I think I would appreciate the court looking at the person who made that decision in that moment. I think that's important. I think you always have to do that. But I also think it's important in this case to think of and consider the person who sits before you today. In that regard, I asked Jen, I said, if you could do this over, sometimes this is a dangerous question, but if you could do this over, would you do the same thing? And she says, well, I don't want to say that because it doesn't seem like I'm, sorry about what I did. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't have done some of the things that I'm doing now. This recommendation, Judge, was littered with letters of support. I'm quite certain the court's had a chance to read and review those. I can tell you that in my dealings with Jen, I see a remorseful person. I see someone who has always taken responsibility from the sentencing forward. I think that is indicative of this recommendation that is in this pre-sentence investigation report as well. When this happened, Judge, this is a time in Jennifer's life when she wasn't proud of the decision she made. I think people do and say lots of things that they wish they had back in a breakup situation. I know that she's embarrassed. I know that it's affected her. Been working on her mental health. I think that is evident. I also know that she's been on bond, has not had any other incidents that I'm aware of while she's been on bond. Been quite some time since we've been back here, several months, in fact, Judge. So I would ask the court to consider the letters of recommendation. I think, again, the recommendation is appropriate. I would ask the court to follow that. And part of it, too, Judge, is that there's a rather lengthy term of probation, which the court's going to impose. And that is yet another opportunity for Jen to not just tell you who she is, but prove who she's become and that she isn't the person that at least in this incident, she appeared to be on paper. Your Honor. So I would ask that the court follow the recommendation. Thank you.
Anything that you want to say on your own behalf?
Well, I would like to start by apologizing to Nicholas for the hurt and disruption that I caused in his life. I'm not proud of getting to a point where I would hurt somebody that I loved the way that I did him, for breaking our vows and ruining our marriage. I hurt a lot of people that day, that when I chose to make the decision that I did, I hurt a lot of people. I am truly embarrassed about that and very sorry. He said, I'm not proud of what I did. I am proud of the person that I've become because of these things. Being able to turn my life around and turn to faith and get back on the right track. I've worked really, really hard through my therapy, my group therapy, with my church family, just being able to help the community more, things like that. I don't think that these are things that I would have been doing hadn't something like this happened. As awful as it may sound to say, I feel like me hitting rock bottom is something that needed to happen to become who I am. And I'm truly sorry for all of it.
The court follow along with the plea agreement in this case and allow that plea to stand and sentencing to go forward today. Nicholas Plumhoff is the victim in this case. He is present in the courtroom today and he would like to make a statement.
Oh, good. Mr. Plumhoff, would you come forward, please?
So it's been a long time. I've been trying to think what I wanted to say when we finally got to this point. And it's just so much more to me than just like trying to get me in trouble. Over the last 5 years, I have worked so hard to get out of the things that I was doing that put me in prison. And for, going back and spending weeks looking at all the messages that went back and forth and how malicious it was. It wasn't I had one day and made one bad decision. She did this for weeks and weeks. I've read the messages. And for her to say the only thing he cares about is this job at the recovery center, and I want to take it from him. I worked so hard to get away from my background, to have a job where I could help people and make a difference and not be another statistic and not end up back in prison or on the streets. And to just think that someone that said they loved me could just say, or even, I could see her saying it, but weeks and weeks of pushing it, messaging him, well, she was at my house, now's the time to do it. I know where his car's at now. Like, I don't understand.
Thank you, sir. All right, the court recognized that the advisory guidelines in this case would suggest a sentence between 0 and 11 months. The courts can exercise my discretion so it is consistent with the advisory guidelines, consistent with the plea agreement in this case. Would be the sentence of the court that this defendant served 120 days in the Nuevo County Jail. I'll give her credit for the 1 day that she served so far. I'm going to place her on probation for 2 years. There is a $30 per month probation oversight fee for regular probation, $60 a month for electronic monitoring or tether. There is a $68 state cost assessment, $130 crime victims' rights fund fee, and a $60 DNA fee. Those financial assessments can be paid within 90 days of her release from jail. I can't think of anything more vile than what you try to do to that man. Number one, you knew his history with addictions, and to try and use that against him. Number two, trying to prevent him from helping other people, trying to engage some other inmate to ruin this man's life. And he's right. If you had any idea how many people come in here with possession of drugs and say, they weren't mine, somebody planted on me, everybody, the police, the prosecutor, the court, we all go, yeah, right. People just don't plant drugs on other people. And that was your plan. As he indicated, it wasn't just a fly-by-night thing, one time, call somebody up, oh no, I forget it. It was time after time, message after message. You actually paid the money, as I understand it, to have this done. I just can't, really words don't express how vile those acts are. You try to separate the acts from the person, but you're the one that did those. Luckily, this person that you were corresponding with in jail had integrity and did the right thing and turned you in. But for that, he probably would have been in jail. He probably would have been successful in framing it. And that's inexcusable. I don't care how much he hurt you. So.
Your Honor, if I might,
Yeah.
Given Mr. Swanson's comments regarding the client's medical future, and I suppose some of the highlights and some of the good things that you pointed out, and appreciate the court considering those, is it possible to structure some of this jail time weekends due to those circumstances, also this situation which she leaves at home? I say that to the court, readily preparing my client for the idea of incarceration. I don't think for a second that it wasn't something that crossed our mind or her mind, Mr. Swanson's mind. I just ask if there's a way to structure that so that it isn't a complete, the water isn't completely cut off there. I think we could probably, I suppose, address both sides of what the court just said. Is there a way that the court could consider doing that so that these medical issues can be addressed, and obviously she would still pay the debt that you believe she owes to the society and this community?
Well, I don't want her to suffer medically. I haven't seen any paperwork that you've wanted. I'm not going to just do a flyby look at it now. So she's going to jail. We'll take a look at whatever paperwork you want to submit. We'll talk with jail administration, see if there's a way to get her the testing or whatever it is that she needs, figure out how urgent those sort of things are, and we'll make a decision from there. But today, she's going to.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will make sure the court file reflects these and appreciate the court's consideration.